Age's war against the Brownlows in Crossroads.
Finished?
We don't hang about, kid. Good team, Mac and I. Pity we're going to be split up, though.
You're fishing for information, Sydney. There is none.
Well, you're playing it very cool, that's all I can say.
There's no point in panicking. I've done what I can. I just have to sit and wait like everybody else now.
What have you done?
I talked to Reggie's solicitor.
And?
No joy. They play it very close, don't they, solicitors? They've got a tremendous knack of talking a lot and saying nothing.
We ought to get Mavis onto them. Be two of a kind.
That's right.
Listen, kid, you got a right to know. I mean, after all, you do manage this place.
Yes, I did try and point that out, but Raymond Lamont might have other plans for the future of the garage. If he does, I shall be informed when they are formulated.
Charming.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a monkey's about us. So, do we have to have other plans as well?
Feel free if you want to hedge your bets and put the feelers out. Fine.
Okay. Hello, Crossroads guys. Hello. Hey, we were just talking about you. Well, in a roundabout sort of way. Yeah, half a more. It's the blue-eyed boy himself.
Ashley.
Ask him about his old man.
Do you mind? It's my call and it's likely to be very personal. Hello, darling. Have you managed to track down my absentee landlord, then? Hong Kong. What the hell is he doing in Hong Kong?
That's coming up police shortly. Is Reg putting in a bid for it?
Will you shut up? No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean you. Hmm? Well, I've got a bit of a workers' revolt going on here. Well, they're worried about their jobs, aren't they? And they aren't the only ones. There's little old me as well, remember? Well, it just happens to be my career, that's all.
Let's tell him, kid. Tell him.
Listen, love, I want you to do me a favour. No, dear, not that kind of favour. If your father should happen to ring you, get him to ring me immediately. Any time, night or day, here or the flat, doesn't matter. Because we've all got lives to lead, plans to make. We can't do it if Reg is going to keep us in the dark, can we?
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, darling.
Why aren't you in bed?
I spent enough time in bed in that clinic.
Never mind that. You weren't let out to gallop around in an armchair.
If I can gallop about in an armchair, I can do anything.
Come on, in here.
Stop trying to boss me. I'm not ill enough to be bossed, even by you, Miranda.
Then why did you spend time in a clinic? Attended not only by a local doctor, but a London specialist.
Because I got money.
Where's that nurse that came with you? Why isn't she here?
Why should she be here?
Well, she could read you that book for a start.
Perhaps you mean well, Miranda, but that's not really making me feel any better. Now, the nurse is here simply because, although I don't like medication, she's the sort of flinty woman to whom I can never refuse a favour.
I'm going to speak to her about you, you know.
Spoken like my daughter. Where's Valerie? Why didn't she visit me at the clinic?
Because I told her that the doctor, not to mention a specialist, advised against stress and excitement.
Where is she now? Has she moved back here?
She's still at Fairlawns. I said I'd ring her the moment the nurse says you're up to having visitors.
Look, never mind that nurse. She's just something to hang a watch on.
I'm going to speak to her now.
Miranda, the best medicine I could have is your mother. Look, I'm under orders not to worry. Well, it worries me that she's not here to worry me. Either you get on that phone and ring her to get her to come over, or I'll ring her myself.
Now, don't get steamed up about this. The specialist ordered your phone to be disconnected.
What am I supposed to be here, a patient or a prisoner?
Just a trustful daddy. I'll have Mother here the moment the nurse says I should.
I'm going to fire that nurse.
You can't. The specialist engaged her.
Oh, fire the specialist. Well, anyway, Val's willing to see me. That's one big step on the road to recovery.
Trina, I made some coffee. Come on down.
Joe gone?
Yeah, about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, that's the last I'll see of him till the early hours. What was that argument you were having?
Well, it wasn't an argument. It was a discussion.
What about?
It wasn't important.
Oh, you can tell me, can't you? Was it about me?
Well, not exactly. It's just that I followed up a lead and found out there was a group calling themselves the Resident Protection Society. Their chairman is a well-known racist, a guy called Sneed.
What, they operate round here?
Yeah, not very many of them, but they're pretty active.
Oh, that's it then. They're the ones who rang me up, who threatened me.
Now, wait a minute. It's a possibility, but there's no proof. Now, the police think they're nonviolent.
Oh, it doesn't matter what they think. What does Joe think?
Well, he was,
You did tell him, didn't you?
Well, he thinks the best course of action is just to ignore it, Trina.
What do you mean, ignore it? Do nothing?
He's got a case.
What case? To let them do what they like.
Look, Trina, you know if there was any legal evidence at all...
Legal evidence? Why doesn't he go and smash the face in?
And get himself arrested?
Well, at least he'd be doing something.
Yeah, about 5 years. Now, just calm down, Trina. Now, I may not agree with everything Joe says, but at least I see his point of view. And you should, too. Look, it's not that simple. He's in a corner, Trina.
What do you think I am? Waiting here to be attacked?
Oh, nobody's gonna attack you, and you know it.
Oh, get out. Take your rotten bags and go.
Oh, sit down and stop feeling so goddamn sorry for yourself.
I'm frightened. Don't you understand that? I'm scared.
Of course you are, sweetheart. You made a mistake, and you're scared to admit it. Now, you nagged Joe into buying this place, and as soon as you set your foot in it, you regretted it. Just wasn't your scene. 3 up, 2 down, garden front and back. Oh, all right for some, but not for you. The only problem was, Trina, Joe had invested everything he had in this property, even went into hock for it, and there was no way you were going to admit you loused it up. Oh, no, sweetheart, you were trapped.
So the letter, the phone call, the hostility, they have nothing to do with it.
Of course they do, Trina. They have a lot to do with it. But you've met hostility before. Who hasn't?
Listen, Greg. I don't need analysis. I need help. I can still hear that filthy voice in my ears. It gives me the shudders. And then you tell me that I can do nothing about it. I'm supposed to sit quietly and take it.
Well, look, I told Joe I was going to make a few inquiries.
Well, then do it. Not for Joe, for me.
I don't think it's going to do any good.
Oh, well, at least it'll let them know that we're alive. That we can't be kicked around. And you can start with that bigot next door.
Who, Brownlow?
He's been having a go at us from the day we walked in. It's time he got some of it back.
Now, that might be something.
How is he?
The nurse rang you after all.
What?
Well, I asked if Daddy could have visitors, and she said she'd let me know after his checkup tomorrow morning.
No, she didn't telephone me. I decided to come and talk to you and not phone, because there are times when eyes say what voices might try to hide.
He's looking remarkably well, considering.
But he's still not able to receive visitors. Except for you?
That does seem to be the nurse's opinion.
I can just imagine him bellowing and complaining he's been put into solitary confinement. And that can't be good for him.
My feeling, too.
Did he, say anything about me that you can repeat without telling tales out of school?
Yes. He wants to see you very much.
I spoke frankly with the specialist, and he spoke frankly about the risk to your father if I row with him. It's going to be a very funny visit, isn't it? Me not rowing, him not rowing. Do you think we can control ourselves?
Well, he knows the risks as well as you do. But waiting to see you isn't going to do him any good if it goes on too long.
How far is the nurse's chalet from his?
Next door.
Well, that's near enough, isn't it?
Please see him, Mummy. At least ask the nurse for her opinion yourself.
No, that would be cowardly. If I see him, it's because I'm his wife. And if I don't see him, it's because I'm his wife. And it's nobody's decision to make but my own. I say, can I have a sip of your coffee?
Clear away if you must, nurse, but leave those bottles. They're for visitors. Ah, there's one here. Come in. My wife. The food here is much better than in the clinic.
You've a good appetite?
Well, as I told my jailer, I refused to die of starvation or of anything else.
So you spent time in the clinic making a complete recovery.
I spent time demonstrating there was nothing to panic about in the first place. I'm glad you've come, Val.
I saw your specialist before he went back to London.
Oh, it's good of you to want to check up on me.
He said you ought to take things gently.
So you're being gentle with me. Oh, never mind the specialist. He has a vested interest in my staying ill. No, the local doctor's far more reliable. He's only being paid peanuts. Did you speak to him too?
No, I didn't, because I thought the specialist had taken charge.
Well, the local doctor would have told you that there is no need at all to worry about my health.
I wonder if I'd seen him whether you'd say the same thing.
I've often put you in an unfair position, Valerie, and I've done it deliberately. But I am not going to let it happen accidentally. I'm not going to play for unearned sympathy. So if you're still mad at me, say so. I won't collapse. I might even think that things have got back to normal. Oh, help yourself to a drink. I don't finish this all up. That nurse is going to force feed me.
You?
No, I've had my ration.
Ration? You never were a heavy drinker.
No, bad for business. Also, I resent the tax.
So they ration you. How long have you had that specialist card with you?
What card?
Oh, you know what card. How long?
Oh, I just happened to have it on me.
I tricked him, Jay. I told him that you'd told me all about him. When did you have your first attack?
Well, why ask me if he's already blabbed?
Just to see how truthful you'll be with me.
8 years.
And how many attacks between then and now?
Do you know they've got a funny name for those things? They call them insults.
How many, Jay?
What's it to you?
Why didn't you tell me about them?
I don't know, Val. Perhaps because I wanted you to want me as a going concern, not suffer me as a intermittent invalid.
And all those times you disappeared, was that the clinics?
Not always.
I mean, sometimes. If only you'd said something.
If I'd said anything, I would have been saying, ease off, be gentle. Eat humble pie, or I'll have an attack. What would you have said?
I don't know.
As I said, back to normal.
I'll just put some milk on and I'll be right up.
Good evening, Mr. Brownlow. I was wondering if I might have a word with you, please.
Well, what about? I'm just off to bed.
Oh, it won't take long. Actually, I'd like to enlist your help.
My help? What with? Oh, come along, you better come in.
Actually, it's a legal matter. It has to do with the harassment of the MacDonalds.
The what?
You do know about it. The anonymous letter, the obscene phone calls.
Now, look, I've got nothing to say about that. I've already had a word with the police.
Yes, and we really appreciate that, Mr. Brownlow.
Well, it's got nothing to do with that. It's just that I don't condone that type of backstairs behaviour. I've made that quite plain.
Yes, you did. Mr. Brownlow, was it you who advised the police on the activities of the RPS?
The who?
The Resident Protection Society.
Well, what have they got to do with it?
Well, in view of their avowed aims, we must consider them as prime suspects.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about. These are respectable people, qualified professionals.
You know that, do you, Mr. Brownlow? You wouldn't happen to be a member of that society yourself, would you?
Now, look here, it's late and I have to get up early. What I'm a member of and what I'm not is only my business. I don't need you or anybody else. And I'm not going to stand here at this time of night bandering words. And I don't need any of your little legal tricks either.
Well, I'm sorry. I just thought in view of your condemnation of the criminal acts perpetrated against my clients...
The RPS aren't criminals, they're responsible people.
Well, I don't understand your objection in answering my questions, then.
My objection is that it's got nothing to do with you. And if you with your legal mind think otherwise, then I suggest that you take the matter up with the police.
Not necessarily, Mr. Brownlow. It may be that I'll advise my clients to take out a personal prosecution.
For what?
Now, I don't know how far we'll get with this, but I'll guarantee you this. We'll cause some fur to fly around here.
Good night, madam. Good night, sir. Hope you've enjoyed your dinner.
Thank you.
Good night. Diane.
Oh, there's still a late order stuffing his face in there.
Leave him to Frida. When can we have an evening together?
Look, I don't think Mrs. Harvey's going to take very kindly to us socialising in the middle of reception.
Mrs. Harvey has gone home. Apart from that, she has long since given up any attempt to control me.
All the more reason for her to have a go at me, then.
One word from me and she'll not dare.
And you only wait on tables.
Only because of you.
Come on.
Seriously, Diane.
Are you seriously saying that we should give up our jobs here to go and find better ones?
I do. Much better ones.
Well, all right. Maybe we should talk about it a bit, but... Well, I can't ask you back to the flat.
Sharon.
Sharon.
Because of her presence there or because of her attitude to me anywhere?
Well, both.
I suppose it would also be crude if I asked you back to my place, wouldn't it?
It'd be worse.
But the world is large. I don't see why we couldn't find a place where we could discuss our future without fear of interruption or interference.
Sharon says you're going to invite me to a secluded country hotel for the weekend.
What?
Sharon says you're going to invite me to a secluded country hotel for the weekend.
Sharon is obviously a woman of experience and wisdom. Are you?
I don't think I better talk about the sort of experience you've got in mind.
Diane. Diane.
You've been a long time.
Did you miss me?
You said you were going to be 5 minutes.
We had a lot of ground to cover.
Well, I hope you told him a few home truths.
On the contrary, I was sweet, reason, and light. I always find it to be more effective.
Come on, don't mess me about, Greg. What happened?
I put the frighteners in. At least they know we're alive and kicking. Now, that's point one.
And?
You really are vicious, aren't you?
Greg.
Okay, look, it may not be anything, but it occurred to me, that business with the playgroup. Exactly what transpired in that?
Well, I told you. He threw 6 kinds of bluefit. I got a letter from the council. It's been brought to our attention, etc., etc. Then I asked the council who notified them, and they wouldn't tell me.
You don't think it was Brownlow, do you?
Well, I asked him, but he denied it. You don't think he was lying, do you?
Oh, no, I don't think so. He hasn't got the imagination to lie. And anyway, he would have no cause to lie. No, I think what happened was he probably just mentioned it to the committee and they did it.
What you
probably
getting
even
at?
his friend Sneed.
And what you getting at?
Well, what's good for the legal goose is good for the legal gander. Now, that garage next door, they're using that as a commercial premises, right?
Yes, but that's Kevin, not him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you still got a soft spot for him. But it's still Brownlow's garage. Now, if we took action, at least we'd be hitting back.
You know something, Greg? I've forgotten what a thoroughgoing swine you are.
Hey, now, wait a minute. Now, that's no answer to your problems.
Oh, you may be wrong about that. In fact, you're wrong about a lot of things. You might be wrong about that, too. I've made a few mistakes, and the worst one was ever leaving you.